one a day, so I can eat candy instead.
Okay, we'll call the night's meeting to order. We'll begin with pledge of allegiance and prayer for those who wish to participate. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Your Heavenly Father, help to guide us in a way that's pleasing to Thee. Help us to watch over the safety and well-being of the townspeople and our employees. Make decisions in Your name we pray. Amen. Amen. And the memorandums from the previous meetings.
I make a motion we accept the memorandums from the previous meetings.
I'll second it.
A motion made and seconded that we approve the minutes of the memorandums from the previous meetings. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same side. Motion carries. Attorney's report.
Well, I know you folks. Oh, I just talk like this now?
Yeah.
Could do a song or two. I know that everybody enjoys these meetings where I say I don't have anything to report, and that is not at all what this meeting is going to be like. I have three different topics to talk about. One of them was a topic you asked me to investigate 2 months ago. I was unable to be at last month's meeting, so this is regarding data centers and the ability of the town to centrally man them from the town itself. The communities that have banned data centers in Indiana in the past year or so have all been communities with their own individual zoning structure. When I say that, Marshall County, it's got Marshall County Planning Commission. Valparaiso has a Valparaiso City Planning Commission. So they all go by their own individual zoning rules. So what that means is that to ban data centers or limit them based by use of a zoning ordinance would require the town essentially to get the county to pass a zoning ordinance. And theoretically, the town could champion such an ordinance. If you wish to be a leader in trying to get that done, you would have the ability to get that done, and then that has to do with convincing the powers that be that they are going to do more than they have already. Right now, the county zoning, and I've talked to Matt Sandy about this, is a data center is exceptional use. It would require approval in order to fit into the heavy industrial district, but it would not be. It's not automatically banned. So that's one way that theoretically you could go, but you don't have control over that. If a zoning request was made for a data center, they would be asking you for your input, as they routinely do at the Planning Commission, on various exceptions for exceptional uses, I guess, best way to put it. The other way is the town could decide, okay, we are going to try to pass an ordinance that says you cannot have this operation in town, period. And it would be, just a flat ban, but that has not been anything that has been tested in Indiana law, at least as far as I can see. Now, there have been tests where towns have attempted to totally ban a particular operation. But my best advice to you on this is think of it as if you were trying to pass an ordinance banishing tanning beds. And there would be some that would maybe potentially attack that by saying, you just can't flatly tell us in every respect what we can do. We cannot do this with our property. You can put fair restrictions on it, you can put guidelines on it, but you can't just say we can't have a tanning bed. And that's potentially where litigation would come out with regard to a flat ban on data centers. Now, if you champion or work to extend the moratorium, or the limitations, I should say, it's not a moratorium, limitations that the county has on it, or have a moratorium for a while they look at the rules further. Then if litigation occurs over that, which is doubtful but possible, then it would be the county who would have to defend that particular action. If you decided to pass an ordinance flatly banning them, not by using zoning, but by simply saying you can't have this in town, like you would with canning beds, that would be something that if you were forced to defend it, that would be you defending that litigation in court, because that would be a town ordinance, not a zoning ordinance. That's my mouthful explanation of what I have investigated about data centers. If you have any questions, please feel free to fire away.
What about a moratorium? Can we enact a moratorium? Could we, instead of outright banning,
Yeah.
which obviously would probably lead to litigation eventually, can we say, okay, we would like to create an ordinance that places a moratorium on them for a specific amount of time?
No.
Okay. So we're at the mercy of the county. In any type of, I've actually...
Yeah, for any zoning thing, yeah, you have
Right,
decided
because we have no plan commission of our own.
Right.
And I actually spoke to the county commissioner about this situation. It was an interesting conversation. And the county's aware of it, but I have to believe that the county hopefully has the best interests of the county, the citizens of the county at heart, but I also think that they see it as a way to make money.
Well,
which I'm not saying is a bad thing, but that could be at the expense of people in the community where those places decide to locate.
And the other thing, which is not, I don't think anything controls your decision, but it's something to be aware of, is that I think there's probably some discussion down at the state level about taking over the regulation of location of data centers. And of course, if the state takes it over, then the home rule provisions will apply. The state will have been litigating that area, and therefore it's out of your hands totally.
Yeah, and it would take it out of the county's hands as well.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Just
So currently, Jay, the Board of Zoning Appeals would be the one to make that vote, correct?
If there was and I'm pretty sure I'm generally answering this question in a general way that's accurate, but if it's a question of exceptional use, the Board of Zoning Appeals will make the decision. If it's a question of trying to rezone it in a broader sense to restrict it even further, then that's the Area Plan Commission will make the decision. Depends on whether you're operating under the current ordinance or whether you're talking about extending and having a different ordinance.
Doug, one of the things that I spoke with to that individual is I think that the Area Plan Commission is going to look at some guidelines for these types of facilities within the county. Like I said, I think they're in favor of them to a certain extent, but I think they want to place some guidelines in front of the businesses that want to come in and do it to ensure a better situation for everyone involved.
Well, one of the things to remember is that there have been, or at least my career, over 40 years, a couple of instances where the local town or the county itself has attempted to zone out of business certain activities they did not like. One of them being, if you come to close from my house in North Webster and look at the searchlight, you can figure that out. And they were not able to do that, and partly because, generally speaking, you have to give people some right to take action and do something somewhere. If you take somebody's rights away to have tanning beds anywhere in town, they have potential to sue you for what's called inverse condemnation.
Well, what I was speaking to, I don't think the county's trying to prevent them from doing it. I think they're trying to create a situation where if someone comes in to try to do this, it's done in the best way possible for the people of the community.
Yeah, and that's the basis for them doing a moratorium in the first place, which is, hey, we've got these data centers springing up, anticipating data needs at volumes we did not anticipate we would need 5 years ago because of AI and the computer power that's simply needed for that. And so we want to place a moratorium to try to make sure we do institute rules that make sense. None of those counties or towns are saying we want to have a zoning ordinance that totally gets rid of data centers for exactly that reason.
So I just have a quick question. If the Board of Zoning says, okay, yeah, we're going to grant this special exception, does it still go to the commissioners to approve after that, or is it in there?
It's theirs. The Plan Commission, changes in the zoning ordinance ultimately have to be approved by the county commissioners. Exceptions do not have to be changed, approved.
Yeah, that's where I was a little confused. I didn't know if the exception would have to go there, but if it doesn't,
Or
that's
zoning
cool.
appeals has done.
Right.
Area plan has to come back to the town for the final.
The Area Plan Commission has to come to well, if a zoning ordinance, the Area Plan Commission and the county commissioners are in control of passing the county zoning ordinance. That's their call.
I thought we as a town had the last call on area plan issues and not.
No, I don't think on the overall zoning ordinance, I don't think you do.
No, not on the zoning.
Right. That's what we're talking about, is the zoning ordinance itself. Okay. If they have a change in the zoning ordinance, that's them. That's county commissioners that do that. If it's a BZA thing, if it's an exception, then they come to you for your opinion and they get the final word, but they've got to have input from you.
Yeah. They get you.
Right. Any more questions on my topic number 1 here? Okay.
I guess explain to us the way it was or the way it is. I think it's probably in the town's best interest to let the county handle it and see what happens.
Okay, subject number 2, trails, litigation, and condemnation. As you may recall, we had in the purchase offers that were made from USI in acquiring property for the trail, there was one landowner who was not willing to agree. And so we had to file a suit against him in the circuit court for condemnation. Now, condemnation requires, first of all, filing a complaint and then letting the affected party file any objections that they might have to the need for condemnation. Meaning somebody could come in and say, well, we think the town's going to put in an ice cream stand, and the town doesn't really need to own an ice cream stand. Or that's not an appropriate government function, or what is, there are several different reasons. And the affected landowner may know such objections. So the next step is then to appoint a panel of 3 appraisers who then value the property. Once that appraisal report is in, if the town puts the amount of money in that the appraisers say the property is worth, then the property automatically becomes the town's, and there would still be litigation later, potentially, if that guy says, yeah, we know the report from the 3 appraisers was not sufficient, and I want to argue about the actual value. But at that point, you own the property, which is part of what we're trying to do to get done here, to get the trail project done and get that done in a timely fashion for grants and all that stuff. Well, the headache I've had over the last several weeks is finding 3 appraisers that would qualify to do the report. One of them has to be a just a freeholder of the property, meaning the owned land in Kosciuszko County. Well, I got that one. That was getting a retired person to do it. The other two, though, needed to be certified appraisers, one of whom had to live within at least 50 miles of the affected property. There are not a ton of certified appraisers running around, and there are even fewer of those that wish to take on this kind of project, which frankly is a little more complex intellectually and probably a little bit less lucrative financially than most of the appraisals they're doing for mortgage companies and banks right now. But I finally found them 2 weeks ago. The judge issued an order of instructions to them last week, and hopefully we're going to have that appraisal in before the end of the month. Once that is in, I will file that appraisal, and then the next step will be for the town to pony up that amount of money. And that's a funding thing with your consultants. I don't know what fund that money comes from, but you got it. And so that'll be the next step in that project. But I wanted to give you an update on that. The process has not been moving as quickly as I like, and it's really because I've had a hard time finding appraisers. I talked to one of the folks, your consultants, and he said, well, the judge is supposed to pick those. And I said, yeah, but when we have those picked, the judge turns to me and says, okay, who should they be? The judge doesn't have a whole list of appraisers that he goes out and bids. He's asking me, okay, well, who do you have? And that's where the struggle has been. But I finally got folks that can and told me they are willing to do it.
And that amount could come in, the appraisal amount could come in lower than the original offer or higher than the original offer.
Sure. My bet in this case is going to come in lower.
That's what my question, are we still obligated to the higher offer that we did do to keep from going to court, or will we actually pay what?
You will pay what the appraisers say is the value of the property that you are receiving. And you were willing to make a higher offer because you were going to save costs for, well, for example, doing the litigation that I'm involved in doing right now. And that money that you would have given to him is now going to me and to appraiser.
So effectively, it might be a wash, cost-wise.
You hope you'll do better.
I understand. Hopefully, yes. But
I think, given what I know about the numbers, I think the answer is you're more likely to do better than worse.
Right.
But it could be a wash.
Thank you for your
Okay. Third thing is the Miller litigation. Yeah, what's the word I'm thinking of? It's not condemnation. The Miller demolition litigation. And I have an affidavit which I'm going to leave here, and our very qualified clerk treasurer will round up the building commissioner to sign this affidavit. I will then tender that with my own affidavit to the circuit court, and hopefully we will get an order that allows you to demolish the property. If we do not, and then I'm sure the judge will set it for a hearing on whether we're entitled to get that, and that will just happen as soon as possible. When I say that might happen, it's because something very unusual happened in this case. We talked about it a couple months ago, which is somebody purporting to be the defendant's attorney, in fact, decided to file an answer, but they're not really an attorney. So it's an illegal practice of law to do that. And the logic of that's fairly clear, which is if you could just pass your own ability on to represent you to anybody else, well, there'd be a lot of folks doing that, and there wouldn't be many of us having jobs anymore. That I don't know what the judge is going to do with that particular thing. I have no question about what I would do if I were the judge, but I'm not the judge, so that's why we let him do that. But I'm going to bring this down to Tricia here after I get done talking, and I'm going to assume that you can arrange for Scott to come in and sign that. If you have any issues, just give me a holler.
Okay.
So that's the update on that. I know you all wanted an update on that as well.
Jay, I assume then if we take on the demolition and pay for the demolition, we'll put a lien on the property to retrieve those costs.
That is then an expense that you can tax onto the real estate, absolutely.
So what about the other properties? Is there any word on them? Or
No, and I assume you're talking about the other properties that we've sent letters to and sent the reports to.
Yeah.
I'll take that straight thing.
I thought you were going to take my microphone, Brad.
Nope.
Okay, there you go.
The one on Main Street,
Yeah.
on 4th Street.
There's no action on that, but, I mean, the difficulty you have, I think, is you need to have a building inspector that can look at it. And last I heard, that was lacking. I'm not qualified to go out and take a look at it and say whether this person has complied with the orders or not. So until you have somebody that can say, yeah, he either complied or no, he didn't comply, I'm kind of stuck. There's not much I can do after this.
So if nothing's been done at all, that don't matter. You need a building inspector.
There's nothing I can do. I mean, the only way I have to answer that question is you go down there and look at it yourself and see if anything's been done. But legally, there's nothing I can do because I have to have somebody that can say, hey, that building inspector's report was not abided by. And then if I get that, then there are things that I can tell you can do. But I'm not going to tell you you've got rights to do anything until somebody that knows more about those buildings or buildings in general than I do says, yeah, okay, the things that we asked to be done aren't done yet.
Thank you.
So that was a lot. Anything else? That's all I've got. Anything else for me?
Anything else for the attorney?
Keep up the good work.
I guess we'd make a public service announcement that if there are any building inspectors out there that would like to come and inspect some properties, we'd like to hire them. Okay. Anything else for the attorney? We're moving on to public input. Mr. Ryan.
Up.
You want Mike?
I do. I'm going to mic you up. You're right, but. Just kidding.
I have two items for you tonight. The first is a application on the Division A wastewater treatment plant project. This is application number 12. On this application is more of the continued progress on that project. A lot of it internal plumbing, some of the fixtures. This one's a little bit smaller than the previous ones for $584.22. We recommend approval.
Once again, I'll ask you, did that fall within the guidelines of what we had?
Yep, everything on here is part of the bid prices.
Okay, thank you.
I make a motion, we pay that bill.
I'll second it.
Get a motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
And then the second item, this is proposed change order number 3 on that same project. There's 4 items on this change order. I'll just go through each one individually. First would be to install a new hydrant on the system side of the treatment plant. This kind of provides a benefit for establishing and setting up the entire treatment plant. Gives them another point of flushing. Kind of also helps long term to have a second hydrant. So you've now got hydrants on both sides, the well side and the city side of the treatment plant. Second is adding a sample tap inside the inside the water treatment plant, right off the raw water line. This would effectively make taking raw water samples easier for the town rather than having to go to the well building like you do now. Third would be replacement of the VFDs on both existing supply well pumps. This is kind of something that's come up during the project as we've thought about how to accomplish demoing the wall that is within the existing well building. One of the VFDs is on that wall. Our contractor has basically conceded that can be done. We can demo the wall, relocate that VFD while keeping the other alive. But with more discussion with the town, the thought was, well, those VFDs are pushing 10 years old. It's not beyond their useful life, but it's approaching it. And if we did replace them, then we have the ability to relocate them into the new water treatment plant building. So there's a long-term value to that as well. And then lastly, if you recall, I believe it was change order 1 when we added exterior painting to the treatment plant. That was an add of $20,580. Well, since that time, our Yoder has gone back to their supplier and manufacturer of the block to further investigate why it was having moisture coming through. You know, if you recall, at that time, we couldn't really determine if it was a short-term thing, if it was going to be a long-term thing. We had a wet spring. The block was allegedly wet when it was sitting on pallets ready to be installed. They weren't really able to determine that there was any issue with the block, but they also weren't able to completely eliminate the possibility either. And again, the issue in question isn't necessarily the structural integrity of the block, it's just its waterproofedness. So amongst themselves, they weren't really able to satisfy their own curiosity, and the block supplier was willing to maintain a good relationship with the town, cover the cost of that exterior paint. So that's the fourth item here, is to essentially deduct that value back out of the project, and it's money saved in your guys' case. So all four of those items come to a total change order net increase of $39,715.00. Also in this change order is a change in contract times, so it's an add of 56 calendar days. That's essentially because of the scheduling of needing to replace those VFDs. That's going to be the very last thing they do, demoing that wall within the well building, switching those VFDs into the treatment plant building. So our Yoder is requesting some additional time to do that. We've made it clear the intent isn't to slow down any other work to fill up their schedule. It's just the VFD installation that would go into that time, and they do believe that 56 days is probably conservative, but we'd rather them ask for the appropriate amount of time rather than exceed their time allowed. So that's part of this change order as well. So yes, we've reviewed it, all of the costs. We've got no issues there. We recommend approval if these are all items that the town would be interested in. As far as the overall project, we've got about $150,000 in contingency on the project as well. So these added costs would be part of the SRF funds. Happy to take any questions.
Question, Ryan. Does the 56-day extension create any issues with the grant itself?
No. The time frame with SRF is not an issue, no.
Okay.
No, they typically, SRF usually states that they'd like all funds to be spent within 2 years, but historically they never penalize when something gets added and that extends the time frame. They know a lot of these projects, while they have very long construction durations, if you add work to them, that's obviously going to impact the schedule. So no, there's not going to be any issues with the time frame from SRF, no.
Brian, I think I can speak loudly enough. I don't need a microphone. The backwash tank, where are you on that? Where are they on that?
Yeah, the issue with that has been dewatering.
Water, I understand that.
Yes. So we talked about it a little bit at the last progress meeting, a good amount, and then Stephen gave me kind of another update today. Essentially, they've been going on this for 3 to 4 months.
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, going back 3 to 4 months, very wet. The groundwater was higher than typical. When we designed the project, we took soil borings, and those soil borings logged groundwater depth of about 7-8 feet deep. So that's what they're, basically told to anticipate in a normal weather condition and the time of the year that those borings were taken. Probably their initial attempt at dewatering, which was essentially a trash pump sitting in stone, was insufficient. A couple months went by, We did have very heavy rain, so they weren't exactly incentivized to hurry things up because they're fighting the weather. But it simply wasn't successful. It didn't get the pit dry enough to put backfill, actually do, this is a cast in place tank, so they need time to have it all formed and dry for an extended period of time. About, I would say 2 to 3 weeks ago, they got a different company to do the dewatering. They set up well points with a much larger pump. If you've been to the site, you've seen it. It's basically kind of like a little trailer, but much larger pump, much more capable of dewatering as they need to. They did successfully dewater down to the depths they needed, but then they probably, I don't know, this is more of an opinion thing, but lacked sufficient earth retention to keep the sides from caving in. Because now you've kind of taken a lot of that moisture, which is kind of holding a lot of that sand back. So they've had, I believe, the north side of their excavation cave in, and that knocked out some of their well points, and basically they had to shut down their pumps, and then so the water came back up. So they're basically reestablishing their excavation now. They've got the right method of dewatering in place, and can continue to proceed with actually getting it suitable to start forming up and placing that backwash tank. So they've noted that's been a point of delay for them. Now, at what point does it become a critical path thing where it actually slows the completion of the project? I'm not certain we're at that point. At our last progress meeting, they didn't say we were at that point. But essentially there's not a whole lot of other items that are impacted by the backwash tank. It's kind of its own thing. All of the work with the treatment plant keeps,
No, I understand that.
Yeah. But that's as much as I know. At least in my opinion, they didn't really have the right method at the beginning. But I think they're on the right track now. Yeah.
Do you see them sticking with that plan, or is there a possibility there would have to be some re-engineering take place to make something work?
No,
my concern is, are we going to end up seeing a bill because whoever didn't do it properly?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a reasonable concern, but no, I think that they've never asked for any costs or even hinted at that, and they really don't have any grounds to.
That's what I wanted to make sure of.
Basically, the way our construction drawings show, this is what you should expect the groundwater to be at. It does give recommendations for dewatering, for earth retention. Whether or not they use all of those recommendations, that's means the method, and that's in there for it.
Okay, thank you.
Ryan, I got a question going back to the 150,000.
Please use the microphone. Thank you.
When you said we had 150,000, that was a surplus, and we're going to take basically the 30,000 off of that. So
yes.
40,000, I should say.
Yeah.
I'm not used to this, but anyway.
Yes, that's exactly
so that
right.
takes us down to 110, but we're still at a surplus.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The project, when it closed with SRF, had a 5% contingency. So that's the amount that every change order we add to each project comes out of. So it's dollars that are in the loan, but not allocated to anything.
And it was actually 59,000, but we got 20,000 credit for the paint. Then they decided to take care of it for us.
That's exactly right.
I just want to make sure my understanding was correct.
Yeah, and to give you a even bigger picture too, on Division B, the water main and service project, we're looking to assemble a change order for that one, but it will be a change order to use unused dollars on that one. It won't. The target isn't to exceed that original contract amount with that. So, you'd still have about 110,000 that's unallocated to anything.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions?
I'll make a motion we pay the 39,000 and some change.
I'll second.
What was the exact number?
$39,715.00.
$39,715 and
Zero.
$0.
Being a motion made and seconded, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries.
Thank you.
Moving on to WHR Hall Insurance.
All right, so we have our general insurance renewal that is up. Yes. And so our agent is here, and our agent's assistant. Perfect. I know, right? Are here, and I will let them introduce themselves. Basically, we have our renewal amount, and he saw some other quotes, but he'll tell you the details. This is new for all of us.
Okay.
The microphone is new for all of us.
Okay. All right. Good evening. Thanks for having us. Peter Shepard and Mike Hall from WR Home Insurance. Thank you for your partnership. I really appreciate it. Here to kind of go over the 26-27 year for your insurance. Kind of give you a high-level overview of what we got. We can certainly spend a lot of time in the details. I've sent Tricia a proposal. Looks like this. I've spent the last couple of months here putting together some numbers, so kind of give you a brief outline. In totality, the policy from last year to the upcoming year increased about 6%. That equates to about $4,000 of premium. We all felt comfortable with this renewal percentage. The market is seeing anywhere from 10 to 15%. That's after speaking with the underwriter multiple times, again, over the last couple of months. It's kind of an indication of what the market is doing. It's shifted to become a soft market. Things will start to be more competitive, rates coming down. So I think in tandem with soft market and your percentage year to year, both in percentage and premium wise, we felt comfortable. However, to make sure that it's competitive for you and it's aligned with what you want in terms of cost, I spent some time going out to market to remarket the account, which is pretty standard. So went out to a couple different markets. All came back not competitive, either at what this renewal was or more. And so again, to kind of solidify that point, we felt like the insurance renewal was competitive. So that's kind of a high-level overview. I certainly can answer questions. Mike and I can too. Mike wants to say a few things, but that's kind of what we have to present.
And I just have to say, like, Peter tolerates me, I'm sure, at best, but we've gone through a lot of the different parts of the policy with a fine-tooth comb and have found some other things along the way. And he's always looked into it, resolved the issue that we had, and we've been able to work through some of the challenges. But making sure that our policy is correct and we're actually covered for all the appropriate things is a lot of work. So we meet like every quarter and go over a different aspect of it because it's very time consuming for both of us. And so I just wanted to tell you guys how much I appreciate how much time he puts in to make sure that our stuff is accurate, because he doesn't technically have to, but if he wants to keep our business, he does. He knows that. But we just want to stop encountering some of these problems that we've been encountering. So I just wanted to let you guys know that I appreciate his help with that.
I have one question. You are calling our water treatment plant, I'm assuming, our new facility. Is that what's on this policy?
Correct.
And those replacement costs are reflective of what it would cost to replace that facility?
Yep. So in the report that I have, there's a statement of values, and so you can reference that if you'd like. The personal property, is that the equipment inside the building? Yeah. So any piece of equipment or anything that's movable within buildings can be put under what we call business personal property. Well, I have an issue with that because the one component in there was $250,000, and your replacement cost is far below that.
It's not the new filtration plant.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. That was what I wanted to clarify.
We will have to add that once it goes live.
Okay, once it goes live.
Because you have to have the construction finished,
right
now it's in construction.
All right, that was my concern and my question.
Yeah.
I assume that you have what's called a builder's risk policy, that's a separate policy that covers whatever it is you're building.
Okay, she clarified the biggest question I had. It is not covered yet.
Right.
That is the question, because this didn't make any sense at all for that.
Yep.
No offense, but That's all that was it.
Yeah, I'll just add a secondary note. In this proposal document, I've also towards the end made some considerations. So things that I would want to bring to the table just for you to consider. So you can take a deeper dive into that. I'm happy to answer questions at a different time. But something that I, in talking with colleagues, wanted to make the mention of what's called social engineering and invoice manipulation with the increase in all of AI that is about to unfold onto us. There are some things that I think I'd like to talk about or discuss at some point, just for you to think about going in the future. So I made a note of that consideration at the end of the document. So.
Do we have any other questions for the insurance people? If not, do we have a motion to adopt?
I make a motion, we renew our insurance.
I'll second it.
Being a motion made and seconded, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same side, motion carries.
I'd like to just say thank you for allowing us to help for all these years. We appreciate the opportunity to give to us, and if you have any questions, just please let us know.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
First of all, the Milford Lions Club would like to thank Brenda and Tricia. We called in an emergency last week when we saw the weather might be raining Saturday, and we don't need a bunch of elders out trying to get in the pavilion during the storm. So we were able to get the building, and we ended up using it. So we just wanted to say thank you from the Milford Lions Club. I know you guys have a lot going on, but you saved our butts on that one. Appreciate it. Second of all, I just wanted to let everybody know about our fish fry this Saturday. It's a drive-through fish fry. It's to support the Milford Lions Club and the Milford Lions Festival, because Milford Lions Club used to earn its money for our Christmas party and everything from Polk Auction. Polk Auction is no longer Polk Auction, so we don't have that availability to earn the money. So this is our first fish fry we're trying with the Eagles from Syracuse helping us. And we're splitting the profits 50-50, and we encourage people to come out and help us and support us. And that's all I got.
Where at?
It's at Mr. Reuter, the drive-through. Mr. Reuter's letting us use their electricity to fry it, and we'll have an entrance off of 15 and an exit out the side of Mr. Reuter, and that way we keep traffic flowing. It's carry out only, 7 pieces of fish for $15 or 4 pieces for $10, and we'll have baked beans for $4 as a side.
And as a side note too, you can get pre-sale tickets.
Yes.
From Mr. Smiley.
And I have plenty of them.
And they're going to be at Food Truck Friday.
Correct. We
as
will
well,
be selling
with their pre-sale tickets.
Food Truck Friday because Eat Milford lets us be there, and we appreciate all their help. We've only ordered 175 pounds of fish, and I've sold 11 pounds so far, and 4 other pounds have been sold, and that's where we're at. So we can use all the help we can get to blow this one out of the water and start making it a tradition to make money for the Lions Club, because we need to have a way to support our Lions Club where we can keep supporting our community. 11 to 4. Pre-sale tickets are good till 2 p.m. And we're having it rain or shine because we don't know what the weather is, because they don't know what it is.
And when you say you're splitting the amount 50-50, who's the two 50-50?
50% to the Milford Lions Administration Fund. That's how we have our Christmas party and everything. We have 2 funds since we're nonprofit. We have a fund where we earn money. We can actually have like our Christmas party and pay for it, because that's our biggest thing for the Lions Club itself, is in the families, because we get Santa Claus kids, and it's a big thing, and it costs a lot of money. Well, Polk Auction used to pay us twice a year to go out there and set, and we would check tickets when people would leave the auction to make sure they paid for what they were getting. Well, Polk Auction is no longer there, so we no longer have that availability to earn the money, so we're trying to do this as a new way to earn money And we're hoping it's a success and we can do it next year. And luckily, we have the Eagles from Syracuse helping us do this, and it helps keep our costs down.
So the Eagles are getting the other 50%?
No, the Eagles do not get one penny. They actually help donate the fish. Last time they donated the chicken. The Milford Lions Club General Fund will get 50% of the profit, and the Milford Lions Festival for 2027 will get the other 50% of the profit. The Eagles are not taking anything at all. And we're just hoping for it to be a success.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. And want everybody to support the Lions Club there. Do we have any other public input before we get to departmental reports? Hey, fire department.
I have nothing.
I don't want the microphone.
I don't want the microphone.
Do we have anything for the fire department? Anything for the fire department?
Keep up good work.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work. Thank you. Police department.
I just have one item for discussion. We are currently
Mr.
in
Michael.
discussion with the school for a new contract for the SRO. And while we are in that process, we have money left over from the previous year from the council to use those funds under the old contract from the previous year until we establish the new contract.
Tom, do you foresee it taking longer than we have money to pay an SRO?
No.
Okay.
I'll put a motion if we have the money left over that we pay it. We need to have it, and then when the school catches up, if they do catch up, not to exceed 90 days right now though, because I don't know how much money we have in there, but
90 days is a good estimate.
Just over $4,000, isn't it?
It's actually almost 6, but.
Okay.
At the current or previous year contract, what is left in the funds would cover about 3 months. So 90 days is appropriate.
I'll put it for 90 days.
I'll second.
Being a motion made and second to allow the payment to occur for 90 days. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
That's the only thing I got.
Keep up the good work. Wastewater.
I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but the main lift rehab structure has been completed. They just need to pick up their equipment for the bypass that they had. They haven't done that yet. But Ken Long stopped in and took a look at it. It looks pretty good, doesn't it, Ken?
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting how they do that. Also, somehow within the last month or so, we ended up losing our wastewater treatment sign out front of the wastewater department. So I am looking into replacing that. So you might be seeing a quote for the next meeting on that one. I've looked at the stream, the fields, rode around my side-by-side out in the fields behind my house. I cannot find it. So I think maybe it growed a pair of legs. Okay, underneath the street department, reminder of everybody that our fall cleanup 2026 is September 24th through the 26th. Any information that you need to get on that, Tricia has some flyers that she'll have here, beginning of September at Town Hall, so you can read those. Also, this isn't asking for DLZ. DLZ is the general contractor that will be building the new post office. They are out asking if they can block the parking spots on the West M line, next to the new post office project. So those ones there on the north side of M Line, those 4 parking lots, and I think there's a couple non-parking areas, they want to place a storage construction container there. So they could put their stuff in there, because there won't be any room inside there when they're demoing. So I'm asking the board if they could do that, and they're saying something somewhere around 4 to 5 months. So I'm assuming they're going to have it out there the whole time.
What's that gonna do for plowing snow?
Well, we'll just have to plow around them, I'm assuming. You won't be able to plow the snow in that area, nobody will be allowed to park there, so.
Well, I don't want friction from them because we have to plow snow around that container, and it very well they might have to dig it.
They might have to dig it out. They might
Get
have
to
to
it.
take a payloader, not payloader, but
Shovel
bobcat
to
or
do it.
something, or
Right.
a shovel and clean that out.
That was my question too, is are you guys gonna backtrack where they can get in the doors, or are we gonna be responsible? We don't have that time.
I'm gonna try our best not to bury the entrance to it. Now, along the side, that would be different, but to the entrance to it, we can try our best not to, plow it in.
As long as you don't think that's gonna interfere with your time, because backdragging takes more, we know
Yeah,
that.
I think we'll be just fine. We gotta backtrack some of those areas anyway, so.
If they don't like it, they can move it. It's my opinion.
I'll make a motion, we allow them to have it, put the storage container in the parking spots there on the north side of the demolition area for the demolition crew.
It'll be on the south side of the demolition area on Emmeline Street.
South side, yeah. North side of the demolition area.
Could I modify that just a little bit?
Yeah.
I want you, Stephen, to work with them and tell them, okay, we want it here. Because we need to keep it away from the intersection just a little bit. We don't want to block. I understand the sidewalk's going to be blocked, but we've got kids that walk through there. I don't want someone to not see a child, so it's going to have to be back far enough from the intersection that we don't have that situation. So they can put it there, provided you tell them exactly where they're going to put it.
Okay. I think
I
they need to
second the
have-
motion, so amended.
Okay, we have a motion and an amendment, second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries.
Obviously, the sidewalk that's right in front of the building is not going to be walkable anymore either. I mean, it's not really walkable now. There isn't much of a room there for the public safety, not to go right there in front of the building while they're demoing it. Also, on the water department, our cleaning and inspection of the water tower is now complete. We do have our mixer running now, so that is helping with keeping the chlorine residuals maintained and also keeping the sediments from building up on the bottom of that water tower. I have not got the report back yet, but just from talking to the guys, we're thinking we could go a few more years on the paint. So that's a good thing. Also, moving on to the Parks Department, I'm asking permission to purchase a 2016 Kawasaki 4010 mule to help the park attendants' duties. Four-wheeler we had out there now, I think we bought it like in 2008 or 2009, and it was used then. This would help him. It actually has it's a utility side-by-side. So it has a bed on the back end of it to help hold the tools and possibly load, trash or sticks or whatever else in there. I have 2 quotes for 2 different ways on this Kawasaki from Lake City Honda Kawasaki of Warsaw. One is with a 3-year service agreement, which is an extended warranty. That's for $8,999.72. And then with the no service contract, that's just straight up as is, it'd be $7,361.72. I I have drove the machine, I've inspected the machine best of my abilities. And that was before they even cleaned it up, and I didn't see any problems with it.
And he's got money in the budget for that. Okay. Do we have any discussion or motion?
Well, between the three of us, what do we think is the best option? The 3-year service contract included or without it?
I think it's a lot for a 3-year service contract, my personal opinion.
$1,600.
Yeah.
It's a used machine, we take a gamble. I think it's worth the gamble.
I think it's worth it too. I mean, I think if we keep it serviced and all the more it's going to be used, I don't think it's worth paying $1,600 extra.
I would make the motion if it lacks a second, so be it, to accept the quote for the as-is cost of $7,261.72.
$361.
Yeah,
$300. I'm sorry.
I'll second that motion.
Been a motion made in second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same side. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Oh, she's got. How it's green.
You can have your pick. If I needed to cut you short.
Stephen, I have to say I got a grandchild that's 15 months old, and last week my wife wanted to take our grandbaby to the park for the first time. We went to Syracuse and looked at their parks, and their beautiful parks and everything, but we couldn't find a swing where a baby could sit in it with the bucket swing till we got to Milford. Now, I didn't get out and look at every individual thing in Syracuse, but looking from the road, we could see it clearly from Milford, and that's where she ended up taking our grandbaby. And I just thought it was great that we ended up in our own hometown park, because she wanted to go to Syracuse, and I said, let's look at them all. And we ended up in Milford. She did, I didn't, but I just thought it was neat, and the park looks good.
Thank you. We have anything else for wastewater, stormwater, street water, and park? Keep up the good work. Moving on to the clerk. We have a motion to allow me to sign the bank reconciliation statement.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
We have a motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same side. Motion carries. Commonwealth invoice.
All right, so did Ryan just leave? So this is just the monthly Commonwealth invoice for the water project for the filtration plant, and it is for $34,377.96.
Do we have a motion to approve the Commonwealth invoice?
Just one question. Tricia, on the bottom of the document I have, there's an additional $750. Is that second
That's a
difference coming up? I make a motion we pay the Commonwealth invoice for $37,000 plus.
I'll second it.
Being a motion made and seconded to allow us to pay the Commonwealth invoice. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same side. Motion carries.
Yeah, sorry, I just didn't take that out before I scanned it.
No, I didn't know if it was an add-on or...
That was the first separate contract that you guys approved for the water audit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, ordinance 2026-5 dealing with the salary ordinance amendment.
All right, so Todd ain't here either. Man, everybody's leaving early today. No, I'm just kidding. So this salary ordinance is for a 50 cents per hour increase for Todd because he passed his first license for the pesticide training that you guys had approved at the last meeting. So this is the first of probably, hopefully, 2 to come when he passes the second license. But he got that. He can tell you more about it, but he got that license.
Yeah, he got the core exam, he passed the core exam, so he did pass half of it. So now he's a registered technician, he can spray under my supervision.
I make a motion, we raise his pay 50 cents like we agreed to.
I second.
Here's a motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same side, motion carries. Fiber network infiltration plant.
All right, so this is also kind of a joint Stephen thing. Stephen makes me work really, really hard. So they want to get fiber at the new water filtration plant. And so there's a proposal from Goshen Fiber Network, who we typically use for fiber and phone. And there is a agreement here that you have to sign. It's a site upgrade of $1,299, set fee. And then there is a monthly fee of $270 for the lowest of the 2 options that they had. And when I talked to him about it, he said the lowest option should be fine, the 250 meg thing. It's a 3-year term that we have to agree to. And since that's more than our approval authority, you guys have to approve us getting that since it's not existing. So just want to make sure if you guys want that. But he did talk to B.L. Anderson about what is needed for the, what do you call it?
Telemetry.
Yeah, telemetry system.
Telemetry and SCADA.
Yeah, and SCADA, that's what I was thinking of. So it should be sufficient, according to B.L. Anderson, who is our installer for those services.
Okay, do we have any further discussion on the fiber network agreement? If not, do we have a motion to accept?
I make a motion we accept the 250 meg. Is that right?
Yeah.
The lower of the 2, if it's sufficient and we are confident it will service the need. That makes the most sense. We don't need more than we need.
This is a 3-year term, correct?
Yes.
I'll second.
Yeah, a motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same side, motion carries. Excess items.
All right, so as part of the construction process, we have a couple items that we would request for the council to declare excess so that we can research avenues to sell them. So Stephen might be able to help me out some with it, but the first item is the generator that is at the existing water treatment plant, right, Stephen?
Yes.
And so we had discussed previously in different meetings that it was to be taken offline and we were going to maybe use it somewhere else where the town could use it, but technically Stephen has found that it can't be used anywhere efficiently, I guess you could say.
It's too small for their main lift station and it's too big for the other ones. I mean, it's way overkill.
And then the other item that has come up is a transformer box. We are getting a new one in the water filtration plant, and so we have an old one that, 2 of them, we have 2 old ones that have some value to someone. And so in order for us to sell those or get rid of those, we have to follow certain processes, but the first part of that process is for you guys to deem it excess, and then we can research what process we're going to use to get rid of it. So my idea would be to check with Metzger Auction, right, to see if it can be done there. at which time I'll come back to you guys and see if you want to set a reserve. Or we can advertise it and accept bids if Metzger doesn't want to do that. And there's other ways that we can do it too, but those probably would be my top two to look into if you guys are interested in doing that.
My opinion only would be that we look into Metzger's selling the items at an auction sale for us, because with the amount of traffic they have and advertising of it, I think we get the highest and greatest values versus trying to advertise ourselves and take bids.
I just have one question about that generator, and this is a what if. Would there be any use for that generator at the fire station?
Already got one.
Okay, the one you have is sufficient for the needs there?
Yeah.
Okay. That was my question.
I'll put a motion that we get with Metzger and start an auction to get rid of it instead of losing value just sitting around.
I'll second.
A motion made and seconded to allow Metzger's to look into selling those items for us. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Do you guys want to do a reserve at all? Or do you?
I don't know.
Would you like a reserve on those items?
I have no idea what that generator would work. I haven't really researched that too much.
Maybe Stephen and I can talk about it and then just let you know if we feel comfortable setting a reserve. How about that? And then we can talk about the next meeting. I'm sure it won't be sold in the next 30 days. So.
Yeah, we got a full few months yet.
Yeah.
It's not ready to sell yet, is it?
No.
Right.
No. Just trying to get prepared.
No, I understand.
Yeah. I didn't know if you had an idea of some sort.
And that's the only excess items we have, right?
Yep, the generator and the 2 transformers is all that we're talking about right now.
Okay. Utility adjustments.
So then the utility adjustments are actually a positive $293.83. I would say the majority of it's probably refunds for overpayments, and then there were some late fees that were added and then 2 that were taken away. So just not a lot of activity, but just a little bit there.
Do we have any discussion on utility adjustments?
I make a motion we accept the utilities adjustments.
I'll second it.
Since it's a positive, it's in our favor.
And a motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Okay, and then I just have one more thing that I didn't actually have on the agenda. And so thank you for most of you, except for Mr. Michael. That was very gracious to start using the microphones, but I've actually received a lot of complaints about people not being able to hear. And so this was like something that I had in my office that I was like, let's try this and see if it helps, because it's also the recording, but also people actually sitting in the room. Like if they're on opposite sides of the room, they're having trouble hearing. So I just wanted to try to do a small attempt if at all possible. I know it's kind of clunky and we're figuring it out. Maybe I'll get some more microphones, but these are meat milkers, and so they're sitting in my office. I thought, let's try and see if this works. So hopefully it helps. Okay, good. And so I know I just kind of forced it upon everybody, but I don't have a better solution without adding a lot of technology know-how, and that is not me. So I just want to say thank you guys for humoring me and trying this new way to do meetings. So thank you.
Okay.
And not to single Tom out, but just but to single Tom out.
Do we have anything else for the clerk? Keep up the good work. Moving on to accounts payable vouchers.
I make a motion we accept the accounts payable vouchers.
I'll second it.
Being a motion made and seconded, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. There is no further business. Do we have a motion for adjournment?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second.
Being a motion made and seconded, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries.